Okay, we got this recording going. Thanks, guys, for coming to our vision board party. I know it's a Saturday morning, so I'm glad you guys are jumping on. And if you're catching the recording, that's fine too, because there's always a good time to take time to plan for the year. And maybe it's not that you are, some people say, oh, I don't know if I want to plan for things, but I can promise you, if you take just a little bit of time to put your thoughts in order and to realize, okay, this is what I want to accomplish, then the year is going to go a lot better. And it may not go exactly as you plan, because that's how life is, right? It never goes as we plan. But if you have a plan, you can try to follow that, and then you can tweak it along the way. It doesn't mean that anything is set in stone. And that's what I love about goals or about vision boards, is that it can be a fluid thing. You can always be changing it and tweaking things. And so I'm glad you guys are on. So if you've never done a vision board before, we're just going to talk. And as I talk, you can go ahead and start to look at your pictures. This gives you a chance to put together your board today, or at least start to, and you can finish it later. But we're going to talk about why vision boards are a useful tool. Okay, so when I was younger, I think we've all heard about setting goals and writing down our goals, and if we write them down, that they're more likely that we're going to follow through with those goals. But I think that's boring. I won't lie. I think writing goals down is good, and I've done it, but it just doesn't do it for me. And sometimes I need an extra step. I need something more. And so that's where I feel like vision boards comes in, and it's just that extra step. And if you're a visual person like I am, seeing pictures and seeing words up on a page or up on a board gets your mind going. You connect with it more. So that's what a vision board really does, is just it allows your mind to connect with your goals, be able to happen and make those goals happen faster. Because if you never see them and you don't know what a goal looks like, or it doesn't even have to be a goal. If you don't know what you want and you can't see it in your mind, it's really hard to create whatever that is. So I think to myself, I am not a scientific person by any means. Some of these things in the world that people create, machines and all of that computer stuff, it's just above me. I can't see it. I don't know what it looks like. And so it really confuses me. So I have to keep things simple. So if you like pictures and you are able to connect them, and once you see something, you can either replicate it or you can make your own spin off of it, then that's a really good thing. Vision boards are going to work, and they can work for anyone, but you have to really put in some time and effort to it. So let me share my screen with you, and I'm just going to show you a few things about vision boards that I think you would find interesting, okay? So when we're talking about vision boards, the first thing I want you to remember in any kind of change is that for things to change, I must change, okay? So if you're looking to do something new, and vision boards might be really new for you, just know that you're gonna go through a change process. And we're trying to change our thinking, trying to change the way we do things, but that might take some time, and that's okay. It's not going to happen overnight. I first did a vision board last year at this time, and I put pictures together of my goals, but I really didn't understand the whole point of a vision board and how I could really make it work. So I had it up on my wall. I would look at it occasionally. I put a copy of it down in my kitchen, because that's where I am a lot of the time, in my kitchen with my kids and family and all that stuff. And so I would see it here and there, but I wouldn't just take time aside every day to just look at it. So that was the difference. And I'll share that a little bit more as we go through, but just know that when you're trying to change things, it's going to take time, and that's okay. Just real quick on mindset, this is going to be a whole nother video that we can do, but I just want you to know that you know, there are some things, there are some attributes that successful people do versus unsuccessful people. And one of the things for successful people is that, you know, they want to see solutions. They want to find solutions. They believe that there are answers out there. They want to get out of their comfort zone. And a lot of times these goals that we're setting should get you out of your comfort zone. It shouldn't be something that is so easy for you. You know, just think about it and stretch yourself just a little bit further, okay? Versus, you know, unsuccessful people see failure. They expect failure. So if you're putting a goal up there and you say to yourself, or you say every day, oh, I'm never going to get there. I can't do this. This is too hard, okay? Then that's probably what's going to happen. So we need to start thinking about these things differently, okay? And I'll share these slides with you as after the presentation so you can go back and look at them. But now the really cool part when I started to learn about vision boards and learn how they worked and how I can make them really be successful for me was when I started to learn about the brain and how it works. And there is a system within our brain called the reticular activating system. And it filters all the information that we receive, all the things we're seeing, all the things we're hearing. It filters all this information. And as you can imagine, our brains are able to take in a lot of the information, but we're not able to take in everything because there's so much going around. And you've probably noticed that where maybe you're walking down a street and there are people passing you, but you don't really see them. You don't really notice details, okay? Our reticular activating system is kind of filtering out those details and pushing it out of our mind because it thinks it's not important. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. You know, sometimes that we really need that information and we really have to pay attention, okay? But the reticular activating system is there to protect our brain and protect ourselves. So when we try to do something new, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to reject those new things because it's something new. We have no evidence that we can make it, that we can complete that goal or that task. Your brain says, we've never done this before. Let's reject it so that we can protect ourselves. So just know that when you're starting something new, your brain is going to reject it. It's going to say, no, let's kick this out of here. We can't do this. So you're going to have to work against that and just train, and we're training our brains to think in a new way. And that takes time. So don't be frustrated if you are trying these new things and a day or a week later or a month later that you still feel like you're working hard. That's okay. That's how it's going to be. Everyone has a different learning curve, and sometimes our brains are really entrenched with the old way of thinking, the old habits that we have. Does anyone have any questions or a comment? Have you seen this in your life where you try something new and you automatically think there's no way I can do this? Has anyone had that happen? This last year, excuse me, my sister signed us up for our very first half marathon. And I thought, you are nuts. Like, I cannot do this. Like, I have never run more than a couple of miles. Running 13 miles I just can't do it. But over time, we said, okay, let's commit to this. And over time, we were able to work week by week and get there. Okay. But it didn't happen overnight. And like I said, those first thoughts that I had were, I cannot do this. This is crazy. Okay. But little by little, as we take steps forward, we can get there. Okay. So when we were talking about the reticular activating system and that filter in our minds that automatically tries to protect us and tries to say, okay, no, let's not do these new things. Here are a couple ways to get past that filter in our minds and be able to tell ourselves, yes, we can, and we can accomplish these goals. Okay. The first part is repetition. Looking at your vision board daily, multiple times a day, is so imperative. And I'll tell you why. When you look at it, you're giving it energy. You're having your mind focus on those things that are on there. And so your brain has a lot of answers. It's able to come up with a lot of solutions if we give it the chance. So the more we look at our vision board, I usually do it in the morning and then before I go to bed, a couple minutes. It doesn't have to be long, but you could make it longer if you wanted to. But the more I look at it, the more my brain sees these things. and I'm able to connect with it. I'm able to see it in my mind. Okay, so if I have a goal of, say, running a race, I put it, and I do have one on my board because I'm going to do another marathon this year. But so I have a picture on my board that I want to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Okay, so just for example, so I look at it every day and I remind myself, okay, this is what my goal is, this is what I want to hit. But I also envision what it would be like to hit that goal and to accomplish whatever it is on your board. Okay. And so looking at it, repetition's a big thing. The next thing is intensity, and just talking about the energy that we give to looking at our vision board and imagining what it would be like to hit those goals. You want to focus on 4 things to unlock the reticular activating system. And this is important because we want to get past that block in our mind to help us move forward. So the first thing is we're going to see it. And this is where our vision board comes into play, and we're going to envision what we want. The second thing is that we're going to say things about it. So our affirmations, that we tell our brain what we want. So if you come up with an affirmation that says, I am a good leader, then you start to tell your brain that. And the more you say it, the more you convince yourself, 1, that it's possible, but 2, that you are what you're talking about. Okay, we're just giving ourselves more options to get past that filter in our minds. The third thing is that music is really big with your vision board and with your affirmations. So we're talking about vision boards today. So what I do is I put on music while I'm looking at my vision board. And it's usually music that, go search epic music on YouTube and you can find a lot of music. It's instrumental, but it's building. Think of a movie where, you know, the army is about to charge forth and a lot of emotions are going on, but it's empowering. So look up some music and be able to find something that you connect with. So I play it while I look at my vision board because it helps my mind come up with solutions. It helps give my mind power as I'm looking at those goals, okay? And then it also allows me to feel what it would be like to accomplish these things. Okay? Let me skip down. I'm going to show you what you can do for your vision board. So if you haven't started, you know, today's a great day to do that and give yourself some time to think about, what do you want this year? Don't just slap something up there, you know, like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. Well, that's great, but think about it. Like, what do you really, really want? So this is a picture of my board. It doesn't have any pictures on it. I took it when I got it. But what I love about it, and you may think to do this too, is that it has order to it. You can see that there are boxes and there are layers to it, okay? And so when your brain sees something like this, where it's broken up into sections, it processes the information really quick because it can point out where they are in a box. And I love that when I put something up there in a box and I'm working on it, I can, once I accomplish it, I can take it down and I can replace that box with a new picture or a new word that I'm working on. One thing to know is that once you accomplish one of your goals, this is evidence so that your brain knows, I did this. Like, if I can do this, I can do the other things that are on my board too. So I keep those pictures in a binder and I can go back, and I usually date it when I've accomplished that goal and gotten there. I'll date it and go back and look at it. So it proves as evidence to your mind that you can really do this. So if you don't have a board like this, that's okay. You don't need a board like this. You could even put painter's tape up on the wall and then put your pictures in the boxes if you want. Play around with it. See what works for you. This is just one suggestion. You could use a poster board and put pictures on it. But there's something about having order that your mind is able to process the information. So do one that's maybe all kind of jumbled up and there's pictures everywhere, and do one in boxes and see which one you like better. See which one your mind connects with, and then go from there. So 2 things I'm going to tell you about. I told you that I keep evidence of the things I've accomplished, and I hope you would do the same. So this last year, the computer I have has has just been really, really slow. And I've been doing a lot more on it. And I knew that I needed to get a new computer and just be able to save my work and work in our business. So one of my goals was to get a new computer. And so I put that on my board and I started thinking about it. And like I said, when we put it up there, our brain starts to think of solutions. It starts to think of ways we can get those things, that we can accomplish those goals. You just got to give your brain some time to do that. So I put my computer up there. 2 days later, 2 days, I had someone call me, and if you guys don't know, I'm a professional photographer and I shoot a lot of weddings and other events. But I had another photographer call me, and she was like, "I need help on this wedding. Come, I'm looking to pay another photographer." And right then, I was able to earn up the money for my computer. Now, does it always happen that fast or that way? No, it doesn't. It's going to be different ways, and sometimes you are connecting what you want with, maybe an outside source. So maybe someone was selling their computer and you're able to connect with them and it's just the one that you wanted. Okay. You just never know how it's going to be, but I encourage you to, give energy so that your mind can come up with solutions. So the next one I wanted to show you was actually, I put it up, I wanted to teach a class on vision boards and just start to share this information because it's made such a huge impact on my life that I knew other people could benefit from it. And so I wanted to teach a class on it. So I put it up probably a month or two ago, and through the holidays, it's busy and stuff. But today I am excited because you guys are here and you are allowing me to be able to teach this class. So cute. So I'm able to take this thing off my vision board today. And now I need to think of, okay, what do I need to replace it with? Okay. And sometimes that takes some thought. So put some thought into it and see what you really want to accomplish. But things are possible if we give, positive energy to it. Myra, do you have anything to share about that, just the energy that we give to things?
Yeah, and you said something that is very interesting to me, which is also something that I practice. It's it's somewhat like vision boards to me is something like, for example, like doing journaling, for example. Like you really put all your thoughts out there, you really put all your, and then you increase awareness while, by doing this. And then when you focus on the things that you really want, then you're filtering. And so that, obviously it makes such a big impact to just be more aware, just be able to accomplish the things that you want because they're on the forefront of your mind, if you will. And so yeah, I love that, that filter example because I teach that as well with my own coaching, and it's we have about 60,000 thoughts in our mind on a daily basis, and we're women, so we probably have more. So we have so many thoughts going on about family, children, church, business, all these different things. But when we put stuff that is really important in our immediate awareness, then in our immediate consciousness, we just become more aware of it. And so I love it. I love it all.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, there might be, when I first started doing the vision board, I didn't give it very much energy. So whatever you give energy to is what's going to come back to you. It happens. And I'm sure you've seen it in your life. So if, say, maybe you're having a bad day and you're carrying that energy around with you, are people going to be reacting positively to you? Maybe they will, but chances are they're kind of like, oh, maybe we should just stay away, so we attract what we put out there. And I love that. And so it's the same is true with our vision boards. If we put energy into it, it's going to come back to us. And like I said, there's no time frame on when these things can happen. But I have found that the more time I put into looking at my vision board and giving my mind, giving my mind a chance to come up with solutions, that it happens faster. And so that's what I want to encourage you to look at it in the morning, even if it's just a couple minutes, and look at it definitely at night, because when we go to sleep, our subconscious is still awake. it's still processing information because our body is breathing, our heart is beating. It's still processing all that information. So it gives your mind a chance to come up with solutions. So what I've done is put a small notebook by the side of my bed with a pen. And if I wake up with a dream, I'll try to like hurry, scratch it down because I'll forget it, of course. But usually it has something to do with what I've been thinking about the night before. And if I've been thinking about my vision board, you come up with solutions to those things because that's what your mind has been thinking about the whole time you're sleeping. So try it out. Find out for yourself that this can work. But, from my experience, it's been a game changer. So, and it doesn't matter what goals you put up there. It could be health and fitness. It could be work-related, family, relationships. Like I said before, you could put up a picture, but you could also put up words. So this year, I really tried to think of, what are some words or some attributes that I want to become this year, that I want to work on. And so I printed off those words and I put them on my board. So I see them every day. So one of my words is strong or fearless. Okay, words that inspire me and touch me, so your words are going to be different. Do what speaks to you. The other word I want to show you or want to talk to you about is I put abundance on my board. Now, this is something we're going to cover in a different meeting, but this is a big one, okay? Abundance versus scarcity. And I can tell you for a long time, all I saw was there wasn't enough of things, okay? There wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough money. I didn't have enough resources. You just see that there's just not enough. And it wasn't a good place to live in. But instead, I tried to turn it around and think, okay, I do have enough. And the more I said that and the more I tried to think that way, that's what happened, is that I started to see more. And maybe it's that you just start to appreciate more and you start to see what you really do have. But abundance and scarcity is something I really want to cover. And so if that's something that interests you, I want you to, put it in the comments or send me a message saying that you'd like to hear more about that, because when we live with the scarcity mindset, it kind of puts this cloud over us, and that we can never see what is beyond us, and that nothing is ever good enough. You're never good enough. And so that is definitely something for another time. But as we get going with our vision boards, I want to see what you guys have. What are some pictures? Maybe show them or post it in the comments. What's something you want to work on this next year? What do you have? Post it in the comments and let's see. And I'll share mine as well. Okay, one thing I'll tell you I'm working on right now is just trying to be more connected with people. And I love hearing their stories. I love hearing people's background. But sometimes I think we get so caught up with life that, we don't take a second to slow down. And so that's what I'm focusing on this year is maybe just slowing down a little bit more and paying attention to the people around me. And those are the people are what matter, things don't make a difference. You could have all the money in the world, but if you don't have relationships and you don't have connection with other people, then life is not as enjoyable. So, okay, so what do you guys got? Jen, what would you like to work on? Meg, I know you're on. What's something you want to work on this next year? I mean, maybe I'm singling you out too much, but I know you guys got good stuff going on. So you guys got good energy.
Well, it feels a little bit weird because I've done this before, but I'm working towards doing the Bear Lake half again.
Nice. That's a half marathon is not easy. So I hope you're telling yourself every day that you can do this. You've got this.
Yeah. So I guess the big goal is to, I usually can do them in 3.5 hours. So to decrease that.
Yeah. Well, and I love that, it doesn't matter what anyone else is running it in. It's you. It's your journey. You know, that's all that matters. I love that. Anyone else want to share anything? Did you put up any words? Have you thought of a word? What comes to mind when I say 2017? Like what do you think of? Rise, Myra. Oh my gosh, I love that. Rise. Can't you just see that when you say the word rise, don't you just get a mental picture? Like you even feel something. What do you feel?
Rise. Sorry, my daughter's here. So yeah, when I see that word, and when I didn't have it up, so that's why I have it up, and I'm gonna have it up now. But I just really and truly, what it means to me and what I made it mean this year was like, I'm not gonna play small anymore, like with, you know, just in everything that I do, with my business, with my family, like, you know, and with other people, like with my relationships, because I always think like, oh, I don't, you know, maybe they're too busy, or maybe I'm not gonna do that, you know. It's always like just bringing myself down. And so I was like, you know what? No, for every occasion now, I am going to rise, and I'm going to be, and I'm going to empower myself to just be the best person that I can be in my relationship, in everything. So it actually, I have a song with it too. So I even have a theme song for this year. And, you know, so I went all out this year with this.
Yes. I love that. Music is huge. I mean, I know you guys know that, and we've always heard it, but I think sometimes we don't think about it. We don't give it enough credit of what it can do in our lives. And, you know, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, we listened to music all the time. In fact, every morning when I got up and got ready for school, I would turn on my radio. And as I had kids and a family, I just was like, okay, enough noise. Like, you have your kids doing all this stuff. And so every time we got in the car, they would want to turn on the radio. I'm like, no, we need a little bit of peace, you know. But I cut music out for a long time. And I didn't realize how much I was missing until we started putting it back in. And so now we do a song in the morning when the kids are getting ready for school, and before we leave the house, we'll do like a song. We'll all dance around and stuff. Use music. Use it in your life. At work, if you're having a tough day, turn on a song. Watch what happens. Totally, I agree with that. So, Meg, I'm glad you're jumping on. I hope you guys' dad is doing okay. I know that is not fun to deal with. I'm sorry. So, prayers for you. But any other questions on vision boards? I really want to see them when you guys get them done, or even some progress that you want to share. Share that, and I would love to cheer you on. So, any other questions? And we'll get going for the day. This is a great start to my day. I love seeing you guys. You guys bring good energy. I love that. I really want to tell you I appreciate that. So,
Veronica, I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do you suggest you get very specific on, like, you know, like, for example, like on my word, like do that plus, you know, all the things that it means to me, like where I need to rise, like, what do you suggest?
I would. I mean, I don't know that it necessarily means that you have to put it on your board, but maybe you journal about what rise means and put the music on. I love the music idea because it makes such a huge difference. But yeah, I would write down where you want to rise. What are some areas that come to mind? What are some thoughts? So when you see the word on your vision board, you'll be thinking of those things. Maybe you put them on there. Maybe you want to rise in your relationships or with your health. Yeah, maybe you put those things under it. There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, it helps remind you even more the areas that you want to work on. But I think if we can connect all of our senses, that we see it, we say it with our declarations, we say the word, we talk about what it feels like, we talk about what it looks like, we are getting all of our senses involved. I think that's when our body truly can connect with it and our mind can come up with more solutions. So yeah, I'll connect all those senses. I would write it out. I would say it, talk about it. Like if you had a dream home that you really wanted to build, you know, wouldn't you want to imagine what it looks like, what it would feel like to walk in the door and, you know, feel the space? Do that with your goal. You know, like with Jen's goal of running her race, what does it feel like? What does it look like around you? Maybe what are you wearing that day? You know, how do you feel? You've thought about all the preparation up to that point. You know, get into it. The more, the better, I say. So yeah, great question. Any other questions before we hop off for the day? These are great. You guys, I can already tell that you put in some thought and some good energy into this. It will make a difference. Okay, don't just slap pictures up on there. Don't waste your time. Okay, put a little thought, and then if you can do a little bit more thought into it and look at it every day, that's what's going to make the difference. Okay, I think the same is true when we write down our goals. If we never look at them, if we never go back, I forget about them. You know, that's just what happens. Life is busy. You have other obligations and responsibilities. You will forget about them. So if you really want to make it happen, put a little effort into it. And I'm sure you will find that it will make a difference. So anyway, thanks for jumping on, you guys. Hop off and have a great Saturday. It is snowing here, so don't go out and shovel. Yeah, so
thanks, Veronica.
Can you see the sun right there?
Okay, well, have a good day, you guys. Thanks for hopping on. I'll see you later. Bye.